Hello, hello, and welcome, my Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising sign. Welcome to your full moon to new moon next reading for March 2020. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons Mel for short, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and very honored to be serving you at this moment. If you are new to my channel, please do like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Comment in the description box below, because I'm really having a good time, and not just fun. I'm really getting a lot of soul fulfillment from doing these readings, and I know water signs like you usually get that, right? It's a little on the occult side, it's a bit on the intuitive side, so I really hope you are. If you are one of my returning subscribers, thank you so much for getting me past the 1,000 mark. We just crossed 1,100. Very happy about that. That happened relatively quickly. The momentum is going. So I actually have a thank you vid in the description box below, as well as a video that I did yesterday explaining, clarifying how I bless the cards before every reading that I do. And I just did it for you. Got a nice little oxygen buzz off of it. So let's rock and roll, shall we? Let's get down to it. This is a general reading. Please take what resonates intuitively and leave what does not. You can't read all the people all the time. You can read some of the people all the time and all the people some of the time, but you can't read all of the people all the time with precision, microscopic accuracy. Genius Virgo reader that I am, and I take that word genius very loosely. Or not at all. I've just been doing it forever. Mother is the repetition. Repetition is the mother of skill, and this Mercury retrograde is kicking my metaphoric ass. So only a couple of more days of that, right? Because it goes direct the same night that we go into full moon in Virgo. So let's get down to biz. We are looking at the full moon March 9th, right? Full moon in Virgo to new moon in Aries, which is March 24th. So a 2-week period. We're looking at here a specific arc in time. And my job is to take these 7 decks that I work with and the pantheons connected to each to get you some clues, some tips, some hints, some themes that you can be aware of in terms of what you need. Hence a what do I need reading, which I think is very helpful in saying, what should I do? Hey, what do I need, right? When you go to the divine and say, what do I need? They'll say, all right, they're ready to play, right? You need to learn this. You need to look at this. You need to do that. That kind of guidance and grace. Cool? So if you can stay focused on your breath, as I will, we'll all be in the present moment. It'll slow me down. This is my last reading of 5 for the day. So I just had a cup of coffee, so I know what caffeine does to me, which is why I drink it. I am a potion witch, Pisces moon potion witch, with honey and vanilla in it. So I'm like feeling the yummies. But if I can stay focused on my breath, I can get the information to flow through me. If you're focusing on your breath as you go, you're tuning to the divine in the present moment as well. And the readings tend to be lovely on both sides. Cool. Let's get down to it. We're going to start with the Caroline Myss archetype deck. Like I said, just 1 card from 7 different decks to give you a mosaic, a puzzle, so that you can have some clues, some tips, some hints along the mysterious path of this full moon to new moon next. All the decks that I read are in the description box at the bottom. Go look, because there's other cool stuff on the way down. All right? Let's do this. Take a deep breath. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please, 1 card in clarity for this Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising sign, whether it's the Scorpio watching this, a cross-watcher, because it can represent someone the Scorpio is dealing with, or an energy that the Scorpio is dealing with in a situation, person, place, or thing, right? So please, 1 card in clarity. What is the dominant soul power? Being alchemized from lead to gold, the dominant archetype for this Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising sign, this full moon in Virgo to new moon in Aries, March 2020. Lovely. Now this one, every archetype is light and shadow, lead and gold, positive, negative, because they are essentially neutral, right? So the shadow is supposed to be a little triggery, a little tricky, because that's the stuff that needs to be healed. But what I love using the archetypes for the waning moon is because on the periodic table, like think earth science, right? Chemistry, as well. The periodic table, lead has 3 more atoms than gold. So you would think gold would have more atoms because why? It's more expensive, right? It's a luxury metal, a expensive metal. Lead, not so much. It's toxic. So something has to be burned off, transformed, let go of from lead to alchemize it into gold. And that's very much what waning moon is about. It's about letting go, right? Freeing, releasing, transforming in that way. So you've got the servant archetype. I have the servant archetype. I'm a Virgo, right? I think all of us do. But this is the healing family of archetypes. So this can be incredibly healing, whether you have it yourself, reason, season, or lifetime, dealing with a servant archetype, reason, season, or lifetime, or are in a situation where your service or service in general is required for you and everybody else involved. This could be about work, but I would think it would be more of a service industry kind of thing. But you'll know that as we go. Let me read you the shadow. Using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. And, you know, I hear this from clients all the time. It's like, oh, I would love to do that, but I don't have the money for it. It's like, I understand that. I'm a professional witch. I've been running my company for 20 plus years, DrawingTheCircle Productions. I know what it feels like to not have the available funds to do the things that I want to do. But when it comes to service, you can serve in other ways that don't necessarily involve money, right? So when people are like, I don't want to say slaves to their job for the money, because the slave is a whole different archetype. It's the divine family. The servant is in the healing family, that this can be healed, right? That's the whole point of it, that the service to oneself, right? And there's so much healing information and information that can help us serve ourselves through self-care now that you can get for free on the internet. But I get, if you can't afford internet, I get what you're saying there. But allow your healing to really be a thing as you serve, as you go forward, even if this isn't a potent archetype within you. The light attribute, delight in serving with a free and loving heart. And that is me doing this work. Like, yes, I am monetized now. Yes, I am taking clients from practically all around the world, which is nice, you know, video calls and Skype and all of that and telephone. But I get such joy out of it. It's a giving that I know gives so much back to me, and I'm also helping with the spiritual evolution of planet Earth, moving from duality consciousness to unity consciousness. It's a long story. So keep this in mind. Again, this might not be you. This might be someone that you're dealing with, or a larger situation. And by the way, all 3 can be true. It can be you, it can be another person, and can be an environment, an archetypal buzz in the air. So this deck is the collective pantheons, as I said, the angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Now we're going to go to each of those pantheons individually, and we're going to start with the angels, with the Healing with the Angels Oracle by Doreen Virtue. Nice deep breath, please. Oh, that felt good. My angels, please, 1 card in clarity. For this Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising sign, for this full moon in Virgo to new moon next in Aries, March 2020, please, what is your celestial point of view in terms of what this Scorpio needs for this full moon to new moon next, March 2020? Let's see what you got. Retreat! Run away! Run away! Retreat. This really feels like with service that this is something about you serving yourself. Even if this is not you in particular, right? Something that's potent in your alchemical field, then definitely this is about you retreating in service to yourself and working with someone who you hope really has that I want to get the words right, delight in serving others with a free and loving heart, right? So whether that's a friend or whether it's a literal retreat, to me there's a difference between a vacation and a retreat. When I go on vacation, which is rare, I want to do things. But when I retreat, like when I go to, well, I'll go to the Fire Island Pines, right? I want to retreat. I'm not a big bar hopper anymore. I'm in my 50s. I mean, I'll go out. I'll go have dinner and whatnot. When I go to Saratoga to visit my parents, it's like, I'll go there and even work. But for me, it's a retreat up into the mountains to do nothing, to veg, to heal, right? To pull back in, to restore. I have a strong hermit tendency nowadays. I haven't always been that way. So I know retreat for me, because I live alone with my cats, this is my retreat. So I almost live a life in a spiritual retreat, but I worked really damn hard to get here. I worked retail. You know, today I was at Starbucks and the girl was like, I'm so sorry it took so long. I'm like, don't worry, honey. It's like I could never do food service. If people were mean to me, I would screw with their stuff and get arrested. She laughed and smiled so hard, right? See, that's the servant in me. I will even serve the servant, serve them some humor, serve them some compassion that way, right? So a lot of my life is spent nowadays in mystical contemplation and divination, which is lovely, but I feel the need to retreat more and more and more as the energies get more and more chaotic. Not that I'm running away from it, but finding the balance for myself so that I can serve amidst the chaos. That was a fucking mouthful, wasn't it? And I get to be a potty mouth, right? I love being my own boss. Not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's cup of coffee. Let's look at, am I your cup of coffee? Am I your cup of tea? Am I your snifter of brandy? Let's turn to the voices of the goddesses, the divine feminines, through the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, Fiona Morgan. I've been reading this deck longer than any other professionally. I love this deck. So if you'll take a nice deep breath, we'll see what the goddesses have to say about all of this for you. Breathe. Oh, my goddesses, please. One card in clarity for this Scorpio collective. Sun, Moon, Rising sign. For this full moon in Virgo, a servant sign. To new moon next in Aries, please. For this Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising sign, please, please, please. What do they need this full moon to new moon next, March 2020? Meditation. 7 blades in this deck. Meditation. That's so lovely. I love that. Yeah. You're going to get some service by retreating and meditating. Chill out. You know, still waters run deep. That is such the Scorpio thing. Unlike Pisces, which is mutable water, right? Or Cancerian, creative water. This is, you are this fixed water. Still waters run deep. But this is an air sign. So this can also mean contemplation. Contemplation is different than just thinking, right? It's about taking a thought, an inspiration from the crown, right? Down through the third eye. You chew on it, right? In the throat. You let it pass through the emotional field. How does it feel in the heart? How does it feel in the gut, right? It goes into the perceptual body, the intuitive field, the second chakra, the root. It's really moving it through your energy system, not just thinking, but feeling. And that does take that do take time, right? That does take, and you certainly can't have people around you interrupting you every 10 seconds, right? So perhaps this is service to yourself, or if you really are serving every day, all day, at work, at home, on the phone, everywhere you go. It's kind of how my life feels as of late, but I'm digging it. It's what I was born for. I was born this way, baby. This might be a real time out for you, like a real, I need stillness. That it's often in stillness we see how everything is working out for us, not necessarily in what we want, but helping us become the people who we incarnated to be, and we might not even know who that is, right? That's destiny and fate stuff. So take some time in silence and stillness, but it does feel like it's not just 10 minutes, that it's a bit of a retreat, a pulling back in order to serve oneself, and one would think heal. Well, let's ask the gods, the other half of that universal divine energy. The divine yang, the divine masculine. Let's ask the gods. Nice deep breath. My gods, please. One card in clarity for this Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising signs for this full moon in Virgo to new moon next in Aries. What do they need, my gods? What is it that they need? We got the servant archetype with retreat and meditation. That all feels very aligned, very in sync, simpatico, very in sync. So please, my gods, what say you for this Scorpio collective? Sun, moon, rising sign. What do they need for this full moon to new moon next March 2020? The moon. Hecate. Talk about Scorpio energy. In the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, she is the Scorpio card, Hecate, so that's kind of cool. Wow, the Crone of Blades in that deck. So, look, with Hecate, the Queen of the Crossroads, the goddess of witches, an underworld goddess if ever there was, because, you know, Persephone comes and goes, but Hecate, she's the goddess of witches. I adore her. She's been with me my entire life. I've always felt her with me. Even once I learned her name, it was like more like an auntie than a grandmother for me, but whatever. I never see her as an old woman. I always see her as very vivacious, having a good time, but very, very wise, and tapping her stick. It's like, are you sure you want to do that, kid? Oh, I love my gods. So with Hecate here, in terms of the moon, it's very much about tuning to what? Your intuition, which may wax and wane, right? Which may be really hard to hear if you're always in service to everyone else. Oh, they're giving me the words, pouring out your own cup. So at the end of the day, there ain't nothing left. Just see. I point out my cup. There isn't any left. Well, I drank the rest of it. I love my coffee. So really about the gods are saying here, go within, kid, right? Go within, my Scorpio. Go into your waterness, even though, you know, it's a Cancerian card, the moon rules Cancer, to maybe there is a bit of moodiness that isn't just, well, yes, it could be empathic, it could be other people that you're feeling, hence the retreat. You know, I find that if I really pull back far enough distance-wise, I disconnect empathically from people. Sometimes there's just something in the collective of all of life or human life that everyone is feeling, like with this coronavirus going on and politically, social justice, all of that stuff that's going on ecologically, right? That even if I am locked down in my beautiful home that I've named Elysia after the Elysian Fields in the underworld, I'm a fucking mystic, it's the spa section of the underworld, where you grow young, I can still feel stuff, right? So I can still pick up stuff. So it sometimes takes me a retreat and some meditation to sort, is this me? How about I just love what rises, let it come out of me, and we'll all sort it out in the morning, right? So there's definitely a strong magnetic pull into this retreat, feeling that here now that I touched the retreat card and the moon card. They want to come together like that. And in between them then is that meditation, that focusing of the mind. Now again, keep in mind, meditation isn't all Eastern. There are Western forms of meditation, like hypnosis, Silva mind control, which sounds a little nefarious, but it's not. It's really self-hypnosis in a way. I don't want to like lay claim or describe anybody else's work in detail that way. But really look into it. There's something pulling you inner that serves, and maybe it is, you know, long or short about refilling your cup, which is odd during a waning moon when you're releasing, you're waning, not waxing, not filling your cup. But with this retreat, it could be, I need to pull back. I need to kind of do that so that I can get back to myself, to bring myself perhaps into balance, right? To rehydrate the soul. Oh, I've never said that before. Thank you. Probably Hecate herself. I adore her. How can you not? Well, you cross her. She's not too happy. She's the queen of the crossroads. Don't cross the queen of the crossroads. This is the place where the three roads meet when I look into the future. Never, never say goodbye. I know it's not the exact lyrics. But if you know what song it is, put it... comment in the box below. I love that song. Let's ask the Ascended Masters what's going on with the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack. 4 different types of cards in this deck. We've got the problem, we've got the luck, we've got the healing, we've got the grace. Let's see what the Ascended Masters say about this. Nice deep breath, please. Please, my Ascended Masters, 1 card in clarity. For this Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising sign for this full moon in Virgo to new moon next in Aries, March 2020. Please, a piece of luck, a piece of healing, a piece of grace, or a piece of problem. What do they need this full moon to new moon next, March 2020? You've got the problem card of using. So is somebody using you? Now, there isn't a codependency card in this deck. There should be. But let's just say that someone is taking advantage of you. This is a woman walking on the heads of other people. And I can't tell if they're all men or not. Maybe they are. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But there is that thing there of getting over. Right now, are you the user? Look, if you are looking for someone to service you, this is Scorpio we're talking about here, I don't think it would come with these other cards. I don't think it would come with the energies of retreat and meditation and the moon at all. I feel like maybe you've been a little taken advantage of, that someone's not really understanding what your needs are, and therefore you have been giving out more than you are taking in. Now, I will say, if this is in any kind of intimate relationship, again, because we're talking Scorpio here, then there is usually a need to renegotiate boundaries as we grow and evolve. Like, it's one thing if your job is to, I don't know, do the laundry and the food shopping. When you live alone, you do a lot of shit yourself. So it's nice to have someone there to do it. But if there's other stuff coming into your life and you're burning out at the end of the day and something doesn't get done and someone jumps down your throat, you're allowed to say, hey, I'm doing my best here. Do you want to see what I did today? Right? Walk them through it. Have the conversation, break the chain of using here, but do know that, and this is something my guide said to me maybe 5 years ago, I'll never forget what they said, I just forget when they said it, I remember where I was. They said, if you carry those who can walk, their legs will wither. The jaw at the floor was like, well, that's true, right? If you carry those who can walk, their legs will wither. That's a dependency. Is this part of this using, or is it just that somebody doesn't want to do it and is using you to get it done? I could see where that servant archetype could be abused that way. Don't really feel like that's you, my Scorpios, but if it is, you got to come correct on that. I mean, you do not want to screw with Hecate in that way. You want to be fair and just and make your decisions wise, loving, and powerful as best as you can. So you best meditate. But I gotta say, I'm not feeling that it's you. I'm feeling that you're being a little used. Someone's using you, and that would make sense. Time to retreat, run away, or run toward, right? Run toward your own interior world, your own, again, rehydration of the soul. That's such a beautiful way of saying that. I really dig that. Because I'm big on drinking blue solar water, Ho'oponopono, you know. I drink enough coffee. Just, you know, 1 cup of coffee takes out 1.5 cups of water from your system. Yeah. So I've got a pure filter, right, pitcher, and I'm just working that thing like crazy, right? I get the filters from Amazon. I got them stocked up, so I'll never be without clean water until they stop making them. Let's keep going. Using. And yes, they're playing in my head, too, that word using is also a drug reference. So be careful of that if that's in there as well. Look, I understand you don't want to go off your meds if you've got stuff you really got to be on. But if you're going to retreat, use it to go within and heal, not necessarily to intoxicate. You want to out-toxicate. You want to detox at least some of the stress here, serving yourself in this way. 2 more cards down. 1 from the higher selves of all involved, yours included, from the Whispers of Love Oracle. And I love this deck. Sometimes it calls it right out and says, this is what you gotta do. Nice deep breath, please, my Scorps. Oh, so good. The higher selves of all involved, please. 1 card in clarity for the Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising sign, this full moon in Virgo to new moon next in Aries, please. What is the whisper of love from the higher self collective for this Scorpio collective full moon to new moon next March 2020? I love Oracle cards. It's written right on them. Embrace your emotions. Shocking for a water sign. Embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. Look, that's why you want to retreat. If you are being used, or even if you're not being used, but you feel like it, right? And if you are obligated, God, please read Don Miguel Ruiz's book, not Four Agreements, read that one too, but The Mastery of Love. That's what I learned. He said, love has no obligations. I was like, tell everybody I know that, please, because they're not going to believe me, Don Miguel Ruiz, right? That if you are obligated there, it's okay to feel like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. I feel like I'm being used. But to have that conversation with that child in your heart, to feel those feelings before taking action, because I'm not seeing any great big huge action here. I'm seeing a lot of yin, retreat, meditation, the moon. None of these things are fire, right? There is some air here, which is a masculine element, but it is meditation. It's turning the mind inward towards the soul. That's just amazing. Embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. I highly recommend inner child work, particularly the way that Matt Kahn, spiritual teacher, we're doing his deck next, the Healing Mantra deck. He said, think of your heart, your emotional field, your emotional body as the inner child, and talk to it, comfort it, give it the words that you've always wanted to hear. And you know what the words my kid wanted to hear? And I said it, I busted, I knew they were the right words. I was trying to, like, I love you. It loved I love you. But when I said, I choose you, it went, I was standing in my kitchen, right, kind of like trying different things. And all of a sudden I had to just, like, sit down on the floor. It was so emotional. I didn't even know that was in there, because I am the youngest in my family. I have been overlooked. I have been neglected by all sorts of people along the way. But that, I have the orphan archetype. Comes with, even though I wasn't literally orphaned, but that was like a hidden emotion in me, that feeling of always being chosen either second or not at all, right? So, and yes, it had to do with kickball when I was a little kid too. I doubt it started there though. But it made me who I am. It was necessary on my path. So these emotions sometimes hold such gifts, such mysteries are revealed when we what? Don't push down our emotions. Don't push down our feelings or judge our emotions by embracing them. Yeah. Well, then, of course, why wouldn't we then? Ask the Ascended Masters who told us about the using going on here. Why wouldn't we use the Healing Mantra deck, the voices of the Ascended Masters, to get you a little mantra to perhaps what? Retreat and meditate on. Now, keep in mind, we've got the Moon card here. If you're watching this before full moon in Virgo hits, what this reading is for, then I would work this on the full moon, right? And through the waning moon, whatever it is. So let's get it for you, shall we? Breathe. My Ascended Masters, please. One card in clarity for this Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising sign. This full moon in Virgo to new moon next in Aries. What is the perfect healing mantra for these Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising signs? This full moon to new moon next, March 2020. There he is. They really want you to have this one. The previous sign just got that, so that would have been Libra. Got exactly this card. So if you pardon me, my nose is itchy. I have cats. I'm not doing coke. You'd know. I'd be grinding my bicuspids to a fine dust. I haven't touched that shit since the 80s. So proud of myself. And it was the 80s. Greeting wellness is the card here. Speaking of wellness, balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles. And just the idea, infinite miracles, like just contemplating that, right? What does that mean? Balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles. Now I'm going to read it from the bookie book because it's a rather long description, but not, pages and pages. It's a tiny little thing. But to contemplate that, how to bring yourself into balance, particularly if you are serving out of balance to the point of being used, right? This is all about self-care. It's amazing. I love this Matt Kahn deck. I love Matt Kahn too. By the way, I don't get like any kickbacks or anything. We don't know each other. You don't know me. You don't know me. He's amazing. Sweater vest and all. I noticed that since he's been working with Hay House, the sweater vests have disappeared. Good move, kid. He's younger than I am. Greeting wellness, shall we? Let's greet wellness, will you? Would you like to meet wellness? Yeah, I would like to meet wellness if I can fucking find it here. Greeting wellness. Balance is the key to a life of miracles. When wellness is welcomed, you are taking responsibility for the upkeep and preservation of your body as your sacred vessel of spiritual growth, right? So you're not the body is your vessel so your soul can grow and develop, which is very much a Scorpio kind of thing, right? It's hidden, right? The soul is hidden in the body. In balance, not M-I-M-I-N, in balance, you may come to see how endless wanting only creates more things to want. Ain't it just the truth? When operating from patterns of instant gratification, and that does speak of using too, like I said, using sugar, using drugs, using alcohol, using sex, using the internet. Where was I? Oh, right. When operating from patterns of instant gratification, you are likely chasing after happiness that is out of reach as your body remains out of balance, right? So it's about getting the body in balance here somewhere. Of course, through retreat, meditation, all of that's going to help. This is resolved by learning to care for the body. Here we go. Physically, emotionally, embrace your emotions. Energetically, the moon is in there too, and nutritionally. As your life comes into greater balance, you will likely sense true happiness, not as the end result of specific outcomes, but as the energy created by taking the time to truly care for yourself. Retreat, servant. Retreat, servant. There you go. This mantra is ideal for cultivating self-love. Come on. Come on, cultivating self-love, embracing your emotions, loving that inner child, improving self-worth, and letting go of compulsive tendencies. So that could absolutely be part of that using too. Now look, I did Drunk Tarot last week. It was fun. It was my first super chat, made some money on it. We'll do it again, but it took me 24 hours to fucking recover from that. The sake was so good too. I'll never forget that. Brandon, I have 2 bottles. I could do another one with sake, but I think we're going to do something different next time. But the point being is as fun as it is every now and again, like someone said, well, would you ever do it with the green stuff, right? Meaning marijuana or whatever. And I'm like, it's not legal. It's not legal where I am. It's like I'm going to get busted from a YouTube channel for vaping or smoking or whatever. But yeah, if I'm at a party, you know, I'm a Dionysus archetype. But I'm working too hard for that as a Virgo. I can't really get away with that all that much. It shows up in my work and it shows up in my body as chronic exhaustion. I just can't do it. Once you raise your vibration to a certain place consistently, and as a mystic, I have no other choice in order to do this work wisely and well, you just can't get away with it. It becomes a crutch that eventually breaks you. Right? But it is a choice. It is a decision. Rather, to bring yourself into the balance that way, right? To serve yourself through a retreat with contemplation and time it with the moon. Absolutely go what? Embrace your emotions, right? Go inner. Embrace all of that stuff and really feel, do you feel used? And what are you, if this is using in terms of, hey man, you using? Then really look at, because it might not just be drugs or alcohol. It could be food, it could be sugar, it could be sex, it could be working out, which I don't understand. I do yoga. I don't see how that's an escape from anything. But that means there's pain under there somewhere. And those are the emotions we really don't want to embrace. And yet those are the ones that need more love, not less, right? And what is all that going to do? That's all going to help you greet wellness, understanding with the mantra that balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles, meaning that as you bring your life into balance, more and more miracles happen. And can I tell you, since I found the Wim Hof method, I know I talk about it a lot, not so much here, but on my in my Mark Angelo Lyons Mal for short Facebook group, closed, private, great Facebook group. I do post breathwork stuff on there, and I love me some Wim Hof. Brought me back into balance. By the way, I did quit smoking around Thanksgiving of last year, and I'm doing great. And you know what? I've even smoked a couple of cigarettes since at a party, and didn't pick it back up again. That's a fucking miracle, right? Bring yourself into balance, Scorpio, because we need you and we love you and we are all in this together. So don't blow a cog. We need you to get all the way home. So take care of yourself, serve you. And if people don't like it, I understand. We have family members that may be dependent upon us. But there's nothing wrong with making a plan over the next 2 weeks to even step by step serve yourself. Just like when you're on an airplane with a kid, right? The little mask pops down, put it on yourself before putting it on the kid. That's just wise. Yeah. So may the Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising sign be blessed with all that they need this full moon in Virgo, which is totally about service, occupation, and healing, right? And your health, to new moon next in Aries. That the Scorpio collective may grow, may heal, may serve, be served for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please like and subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Hit that notification bell. I'm going to keep putting out the best content now that I can super chat. You're going to be seeing more of that. It's just going to happen at weird times. Maybe I'll announce it, right? Check my community page. I'll let you know I'm doing it next time before I do it. Put the word out there. Otherwise, wishing you the very best and the very, very blessed of this full moon to new moon next March 2020. But for now, my darlings, my Scorpios, my Scorpions, my Eagles, my Phoenixes, if that's the word. Phoeni? We'll look that up. Wishing you hail, farewell, and blessed be.